Long ago, in the quiet hills beyond Rome, lay the peaceful village of Celium, a place of shepherds and humble stone cottages. Within this serene hamlet lived a young hunter named Marcus Flavius. His skill with a bow was legendary, his aim true, and tales of his courage had even reached the bustling forum in distant Rome. One crisp autumn evening, as a full moon cast its silvery light over the Tiber River, a sound broke the night's silence. It was a howl, but unlike any wolf Marcus had ever heard. This cry was deep, resonant, and carried an almost human quality, echoing through the hills with an unnerving, rhythmic pulse. Fearless and driven by an insatiable curiosity, Marcus grabbed his bow and ventured into the forest, following the haunting sound. He pushed deeper into the woods, where the mist clung to the ground like a shroud of silver smoke. The air grew cold, and an ancient stillness settled among the trees. And then, he saw it. Standing in a moonlit clearing was a wolf of impossible size, its fur shimmering like polished silver. Its eyes were not those of a mere animal, they glowed like molten silver, ancient and full of wisdom. On its massive neck hung a medallion, shaped like a crescent moon, and etched with runes that seemed older than Rome itself. Marcus stood frozen, his hand resting on his bow, but he felt no urge to draw it. This creature was not a threat, it was a presence. As he stared, a voice filled his mind, clear and powerful, though the wolf's mouth never moved. "The blood of Rome has been tainted," it said. "The shadows grow stronger. Only the chosen may restore the balance." In that moment, Marcus understood. This magnificent beast was no ordinary wolf. It was a guardian, a divine messenger sent by the gods. And for reasons he could not yet comprehend, it had chosen him. For the next 7 nights, Marcus abandoned his old life and followed the silver wolf. Their journey led them through enchanted forests where the trees whispered secrets and across the crumbling remains of forgotten ruins. Each step was a trial, a test not just of his physical strength, but of his mind and his spirit. In a grove of gnarled, twisted oaks, he was challenged to solve riddles whispered by unseen spirits, their voices like the rustling of leaves. The questions tested his wit and his understanding of the world, forcing him to think beyond the simple truths of a hunter. He learned that knowledge was a weapon as sharp as any arrow. Later, the wolf led him to the edge of a great chasm, a sheer drop into darkness. There was no bridge, no clear path across. He had to leap, guided only by his instinct and an unwavering faith in the path laid before him. He closed his eyes, trusted the guardian, and soared across the abyss, landing safely on the other side, his heart pounding with newfound conviction. His most difficult trial awaited him in a dark, damp cave. As he stepped inside, the shadows on the walls coalesced and took shape, mirroring his deepest fears. He saw failures from his past, insecurities he kept hidden, and the terrifying possibility of losing everything he held dear. He didn't fight these specters with his bow, but with his will. He faced them, acknowledged them, and accepted them as part of himself, refusing to let them control him. With each challenge he overcame, Marcus was forged anew. He was no longer just a hunter, he was becoming a hero the gods could trust. On the 7th and final night, the silver wolf guided Marcus to a hidden cave carved into the sheer face of a mountain. The entrance was concealed by a curtain of ivy, untouched for centuries. Inside, the air was still and sacred. A single beam of moonlight pierced a crack in the ceiling, illuminating a black stone altar at the center of the cavern. Upon the altar lay a dagger. Its blade was crafted from silver, and it glimmered with a soft, internal light. Marcus moved closer and saw that the hilt was etched with the very same runes that adorned the wolf's medallion. The wolf's voice echoed in his mind once more, a low and serious hum. "Take it," it urged. Marcus reached out, his fingers hesitating just above the cool metal. "But beware," the voice warned, a sudden edge of caution in its tone. "It is not the weapon that saves Rome, but the heart that wields it." Understanding the weight of this warning, Marcus firmly grasped the dagger. A powerful energy surged through him, a feeling of immense power and an even greater sense of responsibility. Just as the power settled within him, the cave began to tremble violently. The ground shook, and dust rained down from the ceiling. From the deepest shadows of the cavern, ghostly figures began to emerge. They were the corrupted spirits of Rome's forgotten past, generals who craved power, merchants consumed by greed, souls lost to their own darkness. They had been drawn by the dagger's light, sent to punish the living and reclaim the power for themselves. Marcus didn't flinch. He stood his ground, the silver dagger now glowing brightly in his hand. He fought with a bravery he never knew he possessed. His movements were swift and sure, and the dagger sliced through the shadowy forms, an act no ordinary blade could accomplish. Each strike dispersed a spirit, turning it to harmless smoke. He was not alone. The silver wolf leaped into the fray beside him, a blur of divine fury. Its fangs glowed with an ethereal light as it tore through the ghostly legion. Together, man and beast were a force of nature, a perfect union of mortal courage and divine power. They fought back the tide of darkness, pushing the spirits back into the deepest recesses of the cave. As the last shadow retreated, Marcus, guided by an intuition born from the ruins, slammed the dagger into the stone floor. A brilliant flash of silver light erupted, sealing the cave entrance with a powerful, ancient spell. The shaking stopped. Silence returned to the cavern, broken only by Marcus's heavy breathing. He looked down at his hands, at the dagger, and then caught his reflection in its polished blade. Something had changed. His eyes, once the simple brown of a hunter, now held the same silvery gleam as the wolf's. He could feel something new within him, the pulse of the land, the very heartbeat of Rome itself. He was connected to it, a part of it. The great silver wolf, its divine task now complete, approached him and bowed its massive head in a sign of respect. "You are now the guardian," its voice resonated in his mind, softer this time. "As long as virtue walks in Rome, the shadows cannot prevail. But forget this path, and darkness will rise again." With this final, solemn promise, the wolf turned and padded silently toward the mouth of the cave. It faded into the forest mists, vanishing as mysteriously as it had appeared, leaving Marcus alone with his new destiny. He returned to Celium, not as the simple hunter who had left, but as something more. To his friends and neighbors, he was still Marcus, but a hidden strength now radiated from him. He carried a secret power, a sacred duty to protect Rome for generations to come. And so, the legend was born. They say that on nights when the moon is full and bright, a massive silver wolf can still be seen roaming the hills near the city. It watches over the people, a silent sentinel, a timeless reminder that even in the deepest shadows, virtue, courage, and the heart of a true hero will always survive. Thank you for watching this journey into Roman folklore. If you enjoyed the story of Marcus and the Silver Wolf, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tales from the ancient world. See you next time.